Right, let's go. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week here at the RGM podcast with me, Carl Maloney. How are you doing? You all right? If you're watching this on YouTube, you've always got the opportunity to delve into the archives of our podcast on Spotify and Apple Music as well. So, again, welcome to a new week of new music. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Josh King from For the Girl in Nottingham. Hi, mate. You all right?
I'm not too bad yourself.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, cheers, pal. We've just been
Good.
having a little natter and that, haven't we?
We
Before.
have. Yes, we have.
So talk me through, Josh. Who is Josh King and who are For the Girl? Give us a little bit of background for people that might not know who you are.
Yeah. So I'm the rhythm guitarist in For the Girl, and For the Girl spans back many years ago in various different forms, but it's always been myself and the lead singer Sam. And we're now a five-piece. So I've sort of like grown up and spent my adolescent years with Sam, and wrote songs with him and stuff like that. And then we met James, who is bass and keys. And then through that, a really weird turn of events, we had an old friend from school message me saying, "Hey, you're looking for a drummer." That's how we met Foxy. Yeah. And then we've had various sort of lead guitarists like dipping in and out the band. And our most recent and by far the best is Ryan, who is he actually works with Foxy as well, but it was just a sort of turn of events, and he fit right in. So that's where we are now.
Okay, so rhythm guitar then. I played rhythm guitar when I were in a band. It's the easiest job out of it all, I think.
It's brilliant. You stand there, you learn four chords, you get to be in the band. You're not playing bass, so you're not, you know what I mean? It's
you drop a bollock, they don't really, nobody really notices.
Yeah, well, yeah, to be fair, I've dropped so many bollocks that it's just how I play now, so it's fine.
Okay, fair enough. So before it gives a little introduction to the band and the people in the band. Hi, boys, if you're watching. So like before the band and things like that, talk us through what was life like for little Josh King growing up in Nottingham before music and that kind of stuff. Just talk us through. Let's get to know you rather than the music side of stuff.
Yeah, to be honest, it was like music's always sort of been like in my life as like a consistent. I remember my dad playing my first sort of Beatles record on holiday in France and thinking, like that, you just sort of hypnotized from it. And then from there, sort of, he introduced me to like Bruce Springsteen and other sort of bands like that. And then I sort of went further afield, picked up a guitar and realized that, power chords are really, really easy to do. And if I actually got some people talented behind me, I can do this, sort of, throughout sort of as long as we want to take
before
it.
Music.
Prior to that, pretty normal living, to be fair, at school. But I don't know if you can see in here, I'm a big football fan. I'm a big Liverpool fan.
Coming from Nottingham, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can tell by my Scouse accent, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, pretty much football and meeting up with mates and drinking on park benches and that sort of stuff. You know what? For me, I always think it's funny because you meet those people at the same age as you and you talk about adolescent years. Everyone basically did the same sort of shit, didn't they? But have various.
I did all that jive. I drunk on a bottle of cider and
White Lightning.
I have had some White Lightning before in the past. I've had things like Lambrini. I'm really skinned Cassini, which was the cheap version of Lambrini, if you believe it or not.
Cassini?
Yes.
Is that like Audi's Lambrini?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like the cheapest version. Bulmer's cider, if we had a few quid knocking about.
Yeah.
Eldenbrow
cider.
No. We had Heldenbrow Super Strength and Kestel Super Strength we used to have, which is dynamite.
Yeah. We recently
2020, did you have all that kind of shit?
What was that? 2020?
2020, yeah.
No, not
that bottle. It looks like it's a little bottle of vodka or something like that, but it's fucking rank. But it does the job.
Me and my mate at the turn of the year, we made a plan that every single pub in Mansfield we were going to go and visit. We're not doing too bad. We've got a spreadsheet and everything. We're taking it very seriously.
Nice.
But as a bit of a warm up, he'll come to mine, and he bought me a can of dragon soup, Have you heard of that?
No, no.
So it,
I'm 45 though, so I'm going back a few years myself, mate.
yeah, so it's an energy drink, so it's like Red Bull or whatever, but it's something daft like 5.5%, and it's rocket fuel. It's decent stuff.
Oh, yes.
So yeah,
Where
yeah,
did
nice.
we get onto booze there? I
I
forgot.
don't know. We started talking about life before music. It was
Oh yeah, right. So you're drinking on parks and stuff, right? Okay.
yeah. So no, yeah, that's like I said, big football fan, big music fan. Yeah, that's pretty much my life and always has been.
Brilliant.
So yeah, you a football fan yourself?
I am Sheffield United.
No, I said, are you a football fan yourself?
Right, and today's episode has quickly come to an end.
Yeah,
We
I'm
are,
disappeared.
we're going to have a really tough season, I think, this year.
You think?
It's not looking good. We've sold as best two players before the season started, so that's never a good sign.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I'm not even going to comment on the transfer window. Like the way Liverpool have gone about business recently, I mean, it's laughable. It's like I'm running the club. It's absolutely daft. Can't pay an extra 5 million for Lavia, but all of a sudden we've got 110 million for Caicedo. So, yeah, interesting.
Why the Liverpool link then? If do you live in Nottingham? Is it actual Nottingham,
Yeah.
or is it the area? Or?
So it's Mansfield Woodhouse. I'm not even that cool. I'm in a city. So it's about 20, 30 minutes from Nottingham.
Yeah.
And but no, the Liverpool thing was first started getting into football, and my uncle, I didn't really have a team as such. Like I've always grown up with Mansfield Town. I still consider myself a Mansfield Town fan as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Liverpool. My uncle sort of said, go with Liverpool. He had been a Liverpool fan all his life, and unfortunately, I inherited it from him. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it can happen, that can't it?
Yeah.
And but the only reason why I keep mentioning the Nottingham thing is when you sent us your music, you put Nottingham down as where you're from, so that's kind of interesting. Just these little satellite towns, bands tend to do that because it makes them not look like they're from a little satellite town. I'm just wondering if that were a conscious thing. Yeah, you
think
want to do that, by the way. It's very common.
No, I think like the reason we sort of did that was because, believe it or not, there's not really a music scene in Mansfield. There's lots of bars, but it's same as any sort of like 2-star town out there. It's shit. And we realised to do an actual show that's actually going to get us a little bit of exposure, we need to go to Nottingham. So we always class that as like a hometown gig and stuff like that. So,
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. So yeah, just talk us through. So there's not many. How many music venues is there in Mansfield?
None. There used to be, like before my time, there was something called the Town Mill. That when, not if, I'll win the Year of Millions, I've always said I'll buy it and I'll restore it to its former glory and have it, as like a United's tour posters.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be great if you got all these big cities and then you got Mansfield Town Mill. But that's just like abandoned now. There's pubs, and to be fair, like when we first started just playing like acoustic stuff, playing the pubs were like the best thing we ever did because we never played gigs or anything like that. So lots of pubs that do sort of live music and all these sort of pub music like your Stereophonics and Killers and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's generally more like covers in it that pubs want.
Yeah.
Were you doing covers then, or were you chucking a couple of your own stuff in then?
So we were doing that. It was so we would get like quite a lot of gigs Friday and Saturdays just in these pubs, and play Stereophonics and Killers and stuff like that, and then started writing our own stuff as like a 3-piece acoustic band. Then sort of got going a little bit more and then introduced to the rest of the band members. And then it was actually Jason Hart, who's Jake Bugg's manager, came to see us in a pub in Nottingham. And he sort of said, you got to go one way or the other. You can either earn 30 quid a night, or you can actually put some heart and soul into what you actually want to do. So that's what we did. So yeah,
how did the connection with Jake Bugg's manager then? How did that like? How did I missed the connection there? How did that like?
Yeah. So really weird. So my dad's a lawyer, and I believe Michelle, who is Jason's husband, was also a solicitor. And my dad, when we started writing more stuff, he was like, oh, I'm gonna, put some feelers out there. He did. Michelle came to, well, I think bought him by scruff of the neck down to it was the Bell in Nottingham, and he watched us, and we had a really good chat after. And then he came to a show and saw like the first ever full band, and then we recorded a little bit with him in Nottingham as well. And it's literally just, it's not what you know, it's who you know, isn't it? And it was just friend of a friend. But yeah, I mean, like we're not really in touch now with him, but it's one of those that we, it sort of stayed with us. So yeah.
How long ago was that then?
A while ago, 5 years, probably something like that. But it was one of them where it was like, if this Yoda of the music industry is saying, you need to sort of go one way or the other with it. We thought, well, why not? Let's give it a go. So yeah.
Did you stop doing pubs straight away then and start looking around?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much put a lot more into writing and what we wanted to sound like. And it was weird at first because I think our first EP that we ever released was very sort of, I was just all over the shop. There wasn't really a genre to it. It was, we had a funky song. We had a, sort of indie rock sort of vibe one. It was all a bit higgledy-piggledy, and then sort of some band members left. And like I said, the lineup we've got now, I think everyone, even though everyone sort of dips into like different tastes in music and stuff like that, everyone's got what For the Girl sounds like. So yeah, it's been weird doing it, but it's been fun.
Did you record with Jake Bugg then, or with the manager?
No. We never met Jake. It was just Jason. Okay. Very kindly hired out a really nice studio in Nottingham. I can't remember the name of it. And went down and did some tracks with him. So yeah.
Yeah, that must have been. What kind of things did you, apart from like, you either go that way or that way with it? Did he pass on any other words of wisdom for you? Because having someone like that there, it must have been quite. Yeah. Or did you just be young lads and
he not really he said my amp was shit, which it was. I wanted a Vox AC30 VR, but couldn't afford. No, I wanted a Vox AC30, but couldn't afford it. So I went for the VR, thinking, they'll never know. Yeah. And there was one moment where he sort of like twiddling all the knobs, and I think he said, "There's just fuck all tone on this." I was like, "Okay, yeah, sound." But no, like, I think it was because the tracks we did were all sort of like disjointed. It wasn't really like one band sound. I think he sort of said, go with the funky stuff at first. And we, as stupid as we are, we decided to ignore him and just go down the sort of like indie rock route. So, yeah.
Right. Okay. That's an interesting thing to do, because at the end of the day, you've got to be yourself, haven't you?
Yeah. And I think as much as, we like that song and we're still very proud of it, even though we don't really play it anymore, it's we didn't really want to do that. We just wanted to, make our sort of sound. So yeah.
So what is your kind of sound then? Tell us what it's all about.
So like I said, it's weird because like as much as we have like level playing field with bands that we like and we're sort of influenced by, it's everyone's got other different pockets. Like our drummer's a really big Metallica fan. And then we've got James, who does keys and bass, who is obsessed with Victor Wooten. And it's kind of like trying to fit them in to one sound. So it's very much, like I said, it's that indie rock. I'd like to think it's got a bit of like a Nothing But Thieves, Muse, Royal Blood sort of sound to it. Just not as good. So yeah.
Well, you're finding your sound, aren't you? So when you have these, what kind of conversations do you have then with these people that are heavily influenced with other people? How do you like? Do you say stop faffing about, stop fucking about as much? Are you the person that like tries to direct all these different characters into?
So because like we've been doing this for so long, it's so I don't even need to tell Foxy, who's our drummer. Foxy will slip. I give him a look.
Okay.
He'll slip in too many double bass fills, and it's kind of like I just look at him, and he sort of goes, "Yeah, all right, I'll tone it back a little bit." Ryan's completely opposite. Like as a guitarist, I really like his sound. He's very sort of like he loves his. Well, he doesn't love solos. He much prefers that sort of Foles sort of. Um, he likes all his patches on his pedals and stuff like that. And I really like that sort of stuff. James just does his own thing with the bass and the keys, and I don't really steer them. I don't think I've got any right to do it. So it's more just sort of it's more song structure that we suggest than what people are playing, apart from Foxy.
Yeah. Do you think that's like a bit of a development area for the band to
yeah,
100, that side of things a little bit more?
Yeah. So I think what we've done we've released one track a couple of weeks ago, and we've got two more that are going to be coming out as well. And musically, I think it's the furthest like we've pushed ourselves. But the way we've been writing has been completely different. I mean, it sounds like completely obvious to other bands out there, but it was very much let's demo what we like and see how we're doing and get all of that first, and then we'll look at playing it live and share ideas when we've rehearsed it or whatever.
What did you do before that? As soon as you got a new song in the rehearsal,
just record it, get it out. Yeah, record it, get it out. Or we try writing in the rehearsal space, which was just absolute mayhem. You'd never get anywhere, and because you weren't recording it or demoing it, you'd come back next week to practice and go, "Oh yeah, I forgot it." It's as stupid as that sounds.
Whose idea was it to do the demoing thing?
So James is like, if I had, a little bit of talent that he has, I'd be over the moon. He's incredible with what he does with his home setup and the way he plays keys and synth and bass. So it was kind of like we just let James loose a little bit, and then we all started to say, no, let's change this. Let's do this with it. So yeah, pretty much James, who actually had a light bulb moment of this isn't working. So
yeah, that's quite a mature thing to take on board and put into place, though, because somebody come up with an idea like that, like a new way of doing things, and I think you've made a complete right decision of demoing things, put it down, record it a little bit. What does it sound like? Because I think bands put music out too quick, and once something's out, it's out there in the world, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you can spend a lot of your time trying to fight people finding out this bit of shit that you put out a few years ago, and then your quality control's not there because there's some shit out there as well with it. So that's what, you made a really mature decision.
Yeah, and it was. To get better. I think you knocked the nail on the head. Like we would just go, let's get it out because we felt we needed to get something out. Whereas now it's a little bit more like, let's have a think about what we're putting out here. So these 3 new tracks, like I said, we're really excited to sort of like get out there and see what people think. So
yeah. So we had the single out on RGM a couple of weeks ago, and it seems to go down really well with the readers of RGM out there. How did you find it, like being in a magazine and stuff? I presume you've been in other magazines as well. How was it for you to have the support from the reviewer as well that said nice things about it?
Yeah, like it's always a little bit nerve-wracking because like we've worked our asses off it with it, and it's always important to like get other people's feedback and see what they're saying. And in the past we've had it where there's been good reviews from other singles, but there'll always be that one line that is like very constructive criticism, probably right, but it sort of sticks with you. So to sort of like get it over to you guys and get the feedback, like we were buzzing with it. So I was on my way to Why Not Festival and I got it through, and I was ready for the festival after reading it. So thank you to you guys for doing it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. That's what it's all about, and I'm sure they must have had some kind of constructive criticism in there. I'm just trying to remember the review myself.
Probably stop sending us tracks.
I mean, in the review. Did they put that? I have read it. I just can't remember it.
Yeah, to be honest, I can't. But I probably, like a child, I was probably like looking at all the good stuff. I probably just didn't listen to the criticism.
As a magazine, we don't want to just blow smoke up people's arse. Even the new people you know, that might be new to it. So we do get a lot of new bands that send us reviews, or they want the music reviewing, and you know, if it doesn't go their way, then they just ignore that it happened. You know, they don't share it on the socials when we put it out. They just pretend it didn't happen. They don't reply to the emails. You know, they just get Mardies on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's
But
that's
what's the
not good.
point?
That's no good if you're going to be in a band and
Yeah. No, no,
and you're
that
going to put your soul out there on stage and that kind of stuff.
exactly.
You can't go on like that.
Yeah, and that's music, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
it's called a taste in music for a reason. It's not the fact that, like someone's going to sit there and say, this is dog shit, but they're going to sort of say, I liked it, but I felt it sort of repeated itself too much. There wasn't like a change or a break or whatever. So yeah, it's called an opinion for a reason, isn't it? So yeah, I'll have to go back and read it again and just make sure I've actually taken on board the constructive criticism.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, if you haven't, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I will.
It don't matter. It don't necessarily mean because it's one person's opinion on, and
Yeah,
we like to talk about the music. So
yes,
when we get sent a big fucking PR page of PR, I tell our reviewers, don't fucking go anywhere near that. That's going to be for the lazy journalists that can't be bothered to write a real review. They're just going to cut and paste some of that PR
yeah,
or in stuff
yeah,
about how old people are and all that kind of stuff and where the band name
yeah,
and all that.
yeah,
Nobody gives a
yeah,
shit about.
yeah,
So I tell people ignore all that bullshit, or I'll delete it before I'll send the reviewer so they don't get
yeah,
anyway. Because
yeah,
I don't see the point in that being there. It's never up to date, and it's like seeing a biography on Facebook where it's just fucking. It might even be people's names, which it might not even be anything. It might just be a website. It might just be those type of things are never kept up to date and they're never interesting. So
yeah.
so
No,
when we get people to review the music, it's all about the tunes for us.
yeah,
So
definitely.
that's I hope that came across because that's the
Yeah,
aim.
yeah,
Anyway.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And we've been on the other end of it as well, where we've had sort of that people copy and pasting, and you read it and you can't,
Yeah.
as like we want that constructive feedback. We sort of read it and we go, well, that's no use or ornament. So
What's point having something that you've written, having someone else write something that you've already written about you?
yeah,
Any sense at all?
just making your head bigger, isn't it? That's all it is. That's all it is, and it's
Not
just
even
this
that.
sort of,
I don't even know what it is. I don't know how people get away with it. So there's a lot of magazines out there, and I fucking see you. That are doing things very half-arsed, or they're just in it for a fucking festival pass. And I get frustrated by that kind of stuff. There doesn't seem to be a lot of quality control with what they do. Some of these magazines out there. And
go on, name them.
I know
Go
you.
on.
No, I don't think I'd love to. I will do over a pint.
Yeah, nice.
But I have named people before, and it kind of feels like the wrong thing to do because there's enough space for everybody to do what they want to do in the industry.
Yeah,
And I've learned from opening my gob in the past and being direct with people that it makes you feel shit at the end of the day when they hear about it, and it just makes you feel shit for saying it. I'd prefer to say it directly to the face privately than on a podcast, and I do that. But I used to do it the other way around, and it never really served a purpose of. It might just get a little soundbite on a podcast every now and again, but I'll tell you after. Basically,
we'll do it over a pint.
It don't make them feel good. It don't make me feel good. People reading it are just like, oh, I don't really know what they're on about. It's probably just fucking egos clashing about. And I've kind of like learned over the years to get better at that and not to fall into that trap a little bit more. But I was very tempted to name a few people for you, but I'll tell you over a pint though one day.
Yeah, deal. Yeah.
So the media and stuff. How hard is it a band to get your name out there as a new band with new tunes? How do you find all that?
Yeah, I mean, tricky. Like I said, we've been doing this a long time now, and it's kind of got to a point where we're quite happy that where we're at, that we can do hometown shows and stuff like that. But more important for us is getting music out there and getting people like yourselves to sort of like do a review and give feedback. And I think that's more what we're after. I think when we first started out, is everyone sort of dream of, we want to be in NME.
Yeah.
And when you get as old and ugly as us lot, it's not going to happen. But doesn't mean you have to stop it. You can just sort of carry on doing the level you're at and carry on sort of playing your hometown shows and putting music out there because people do still give a shit. So we try, don't get me wrong, and we try the playlist and all that sort of stuff. We get it fantastic. If not,
Yeah.
they're lost.
How do you find things like BBC introducing and that kind of stuff as a new artist? How do you get on?
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. So um, there's nothing like getting that email stuff.
Not everybody says the same thing with BBC introducing, because a lot of people when I speak to it can seem like make it feel like it's a bit clicky. It depends on the presenter at the time and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really glad that you said that that's not your experience of it, because I like hearing that.
No, don't get me wrong. Like, again, it shouldn't be a competition like Nottingham or London or Liverpool or whatever. And when you see these bands doing well, just sort of give them a pat on the back and sort of say, well done for it, regardless if you like the music or not, or think that they should be getting a slot at the festival or whatever. But in terms of us, like, we still get these emails coming through saying, it's going to be played on East Midlands and stuff like that. You still get that little bit of a buzz from it. So, again, it's just more people hearing it. We're happy. And if they, fancy giving us a festival slot, I wish they'd hurry the fuck up and ring them. So, yeah.
Don't blame me. So what level of the music industry do you feel you're in now? Like, what stage are you at, and where's the next stage for the girl?
So in football terms, I'd say we're League Two. That's where we're League Two. We're mid-table League Two, and we're quite comfortable with that. We just don't want to get relegated. And again, what's next for us is still recording these songs that we love, having it as a bit of escapism from work and stuff, and people like yourselves putting reviews out and doing it from there. And we do shows, we still do tours and stuff like that. It's that sort of stuff. So more of the same.
How do you get to League One then?
How do we get to League One? League One would be, so we've had our past 4 hometown shows have all sold out. Getting to League One for us would be a bigger venue, doing it again and selling it out. And, we're working with some brilliant promoters at the minute. So like Scruff of the Neck, for example, are really looking after us, and we're really impressed with them as promoters. So, watch this space. We'll see what happens.
Okay. So more out of stage, more out of town gigs and.
Yeah, definitely. Like, we've done tours in the past. We've done tours with, bands that are doing, back in the day, like Young Cato, when we're sort of fresh face and getting out there, and some of the best venues and gigs we've ever played, to some of the darkest, dingiest pubs, music venues. But, people are still there. People still turn out for it. So, we do want to get out again, but we want to do it when the time's right for us. We don't want to be turning up and, playing for 5 people. So I think when we do that next, it will be sort of planned and thought out better. And again, we've worked with other booking agents like Bedlam Booking have been really good to us in the past as well. And they're really clever with how they do tours as well. So, yeah, hopefully just more of the same. But, yeah, the next one will be sold out show number 5. So, yeah.
Keep the hard work up, guys. It does, like, when somebody sees a gig poster, they just think, oh, somebody's just booked these gigs, but there is a skill behind it, and where just positioning a band in part of the country based on Spotify listens and all that kind of stuff that might crop up in different pockets all over the country. It's I don't really know much about how they plan it. Do you?
No, I think the best way we've done it is, as obvious as it sounds, doing, like, say it's a tour, but you do 4 dates, you get 4 bands, every band plays their hometown show. Hopefully, so you just focus on that show, but then you get also 3 other very well sold out shows. They're the most, it seems so obvious, but they're the best ones that we've ever done. So yeah, I think it's just a little bit more of common sense. But to be fair, you don't need booking promoters for that. You can go out and do it yourself. We've done it before with other bands who've done like a rotating headliner over a couple of weekends and absolutely loved it. So yeah.
So what's coming up for the girl then? What's coming up? What can you tell us, and What can't you tell us? That's a stupid
So we've got two. We've just released one single called "Wake Me Up." We've got two other singles coming out as part of like a trilogy, and like I said, hopefully we will have hometown show number 5, and hopefully it will sell out coming soon.
Oh, okay, well, watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a joy speaking to new bands and getting to know new people in this little small music industry that we like to hang around in and have a good laugh and a pint and find new music. It is within the description of this podcast as well, mate. We're going to put a link to wherever you want. That's going to take people to all these new announcements. So, is there anything you'd like to say to people that haven't got a clue about For the Girl? And
quite a lot of people.
Well, there will be, there will be at this stage. But, I'm trying a similar kind of thing with RGM, because for RGM, I used to be in a band, and then like RGM for me is like being in a band. You've just got to try and find new pockets of people all over the country, and eventually, loads of people will know who you are. And it's the same process for me than what it is for a new band. So I kind of like identify with that, and I know the struggle of it, and I know how hard it is to keep going, and the momentum that you need to keep going is difficult too. But if somebody's enjoyed this chat today, and they're hovering over the link that's going to take you straight to all that is For the Girl, but they haven't pressed the button yet, what would you say to those people, mate?
Press it, give it a like.
Yeah.
If it's songs that I think, if you like your indie rock, if you like your sort of independent music, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. So, yeah. Nice one. Well, Josh, mate, thanks for joining us. Within the description of this podcast is a link to the music, there's a link to the band. Do treat yourself to a band's bit of merch if they're selling that as well, ladies and gentlemen. It's the biggest support that you can offer a band is getting a t-shirt from them, or just investing in a band, or just buy a gig ticket and take a chance rather than pay 150 fucking quid and go and see Ed Sheeran. Go and see 10 bands in your local town, and support them. It'll mean the world to them. That the industry is not in a strong position for live music at the minute quite yet, just from my own personal opinion. But everybody seems to be having a spare 150 quid for all these big boys, which is a bit annoying. But we live and learn. We move forward, don't we, mate? And I wish you all the best.
We do indeed.
Josh.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Thank you very much for that.